Hello there, Fancy here, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a special video. Currently I'm working on VR Jam, which takes most of my time, so I have decided to do sort of a video from that, and concretely about one of the enemies that I made. Original idea for it was something like Dementors from Harry Potter, I would say. What I like about Dementors is that their existence by itself is pure fear. What I believe is that we as people actually are not afraid of most concrete things. If you know what you are talking about, if you can actually name and describe your fear, it suddenly stops becomes so dangerous, so fearful for you. I wanted to create something that you cannot really concretize, you can't really say what it is, something abstract, something that's like waving around. There were two main obstacles, and because it is Jam and VR Jam, we are kinda out of time and out of resources, which means that I can't do anything heavy poly or anything that would take too much time. In the end, I've decided to do cloth simulation in Blender. I know I said that I can't use too much performance and too much high poly stuff, but trust me, it will lead somewhere. What I did was to create a really high poly plane and then apply that cloud simulation to it to kind of weird form that I have created before and let it fall down on it. I needed few tries to make it actually look good, and most of them were non-functioning because the mesh was kind of crossing by itself and it looked really terrible, which you can, I'm afraid, see on the screen. But with few additions I have find something that looks sort of good. So what I have done is to bake it all into one mesh. So now I have sort of deformed mesh by the cloth simulation, and the problem is that it's super heavy poly. So what I have done is to select every other vertices, and because I have originally used plane, it was really simple. I could just double click on that and select the whole line, whole edge, which was kind of helpful and ended up in about only 2000 verticals, I believe, 2 or 3000 verticals, which is pretty easy to handle. We are making the game in Unreal Engine, and the problem is that I'm not really sure that you can import animated mesh in Unreal Engine. At least I haven't ever tried it. So I needed to make Armature, which made it actually a little bit easier than I thought. I have applied weird octopus-like armature to that mesh, and then created 3 segments of animations every 10 frames something. So I had 30 frames of weird movement, like almost randomly. I made it by hand, but it looked kinda random, like it was moving wherever you would not guess, because it's abstract thing. And then what I have done is to take this sequence of 3/10 of animations and copy it for next 3 sets. So I have 90 frames of animations which are repeated itself, and with each repeat I have changed it a little bit. So it has some kind of variety but also some kind of similarity, just like with normal humanish movement, because if you are moving as a human, you are using, let's say, same muscles every time you make a step, but each step is a little bit different every time. One more thing was that I needed to do UV map. I hoped that the UV map will work from the start, because I have started with plane which had a really simple UV map, but the problem was that it was kinda destroyed for some reason. I actually still don't know why. It probably ended up like this while I was deleting each edges. So next part was to make a material or textures. So I have put it into Substance Painter and bake it all with its same mesh. Then just choose Smart Material, which I actually find that will look quite good, and change almost every part of it to black. Not complete black, because 000 parameters of black doesn't work with Unreal Engine or real life. I also made sure that there is emissive part of the map, because I knew that the character will be emerging slowly from the fog. So I wanted first some lights slowly going from the fog, and then you can see that weird abstract shape coming at you, trying to kill you. I just like killing a player, to be honest. The last thing was, of course, to put it into engine, see if it all looks good, and test it in game. That's about it. I hope that it was helpful for you. I needed to do this video really quickly because end of the jam is nearing and we don't have almost anything, so well, that's not true, we have a lot of stuff, but you know how it is. Just panicking here. Okay, that's about it. Fancy out. Just by the way, if you wonder why I look so terrible, at least especially my hair, it's because I'm quarantined, and what's worse, my hairdresser is quarantined, so I look like this. I hope that you are quarantined as well as your hairdresser. I hope that your hairdresser is quarantined.